Third stop in Mississippi is Aldersgate Senior Home in Meridian, Mississippi. I'm here with Miss Marsha Hannah. Her last name is the same as my first name, so this is not a coincidence.
No, it's not.
And the amazing thing is, get this, so we just completed the bike run to the Union Station that had a plaque honoring 125 Marines that left from Korea on September 4th, 1950. Coincidence? Her father was one of those 125 Marines. Oh my God! Okay, so you have to tell us about your father.
Well, my father had fought in World War II.
What was his name?
His name was Clark Doc D.S.E. Thornton. He was a drill instructor. He was the drill instructor for the 124 that left out of the train station that day. So he was their drill instructor, and he often told me, and he didn't talk about it much. He never talked about the war much, but he did say that he had to. Those were his friends that he was taking on. That they were men from Meridian and from surrounding that he knew. And he said, Marsha, he said, I had to be tough on them because he had been to World War II. He said, I wanted them to know that we were not going to a tea party, that they were going to fight in the war. And he did not like being tough on them, but he had to for their safety and to tell them, to teach them what they were getting into.
So was he one of the ones that, in the 50th anniversary was when they put up the plaque? So
he was there. He was there.
Oh my goodness.
He was there. And there were several there. And I wish so badly that, and I did a Facebook post to bring all of them here, but so many of them have passed away, including my uncle, Pete Bining, who was in Dad's battalion, who was in the battalion as well.
Yeah, it was almost 20 years ago when they put up the plaque, and of course it's been almost 70 years since, the war, they left on September 4th, 1950, but so not only am I grateful for, your father's service, but so the reason why I'm here at the senior home was to meet and thank some of the veterans who couldn't come out to meet me at the station. And I'm so grateful because we had a tour.
We did.
And some of them are gathered in the back. Right? I saw that you put out a notice that I was coming.
I did. Hannah, I do want to say I think more would have come, but I think this is a subject that it's really hard for them to talk about, and it's hard for them to face. I know as a child of my father, he wouldn't talk about it much. He did talk about it at times, but it was very difficult to have those, flashbacks and just reminiscing memories of what they went through. But I can honestly tell you my daddy did it with a kind heart and a big heart. He loved serving his country. He loved the Marines. And he was, he was true blue Marine. He really was. He met a Korean boy. I want to tell you about Moonbeam. I mentioned Moonbeam real quick.
Okay, so tell them.
So Moonbeam was a child that my father wanted to adopt and bring back to the States, but he couldn't. But the way and his name was Moonbeam because he was on patrol at night, and the moon, the light from the moon shone on Moonbeam's head, and Dad and his troop knew that was a child, so they brought him into their squadron or their battalion or whatever. I'm probably not using the correct words, and they sort of adopted him, and Daddy really wanted to bring Moonbeam back to the States. I'd love to know, we'd all love to know if Moonbeam is still living because he was a little child when Daddy was there.
By the way, her father was one of the chosen few.
He was.
So
chosen.
They were one of the most famous because of course the Battle of Chosin Reservoir was
so cool.
It was not only cool, but they lost so many men, and of course, actually that's kind of cool because the current president of South Korea, his last name is Moon. And
This is not a coincidence, is it?
his parents were rescued from the Chosin Reservoir.
Oh my goodness.
And so he was born in the refugee camp.
Daddy took the child before he came back to the States to an orphanage. He left the child at an orphanage.
So he's actually somewhere in the States?
And no, now
in Korea.
He left the child.
I wish we could find him. That would be amazing.
Well, Daddy's name was Doc Thornton. He was from Mississippi. I mean, I don't know how many,
Well, sadly, Mr. Thornton is no longer with us, but we did go lay a flower in his honor and memory earlier today. And that is why I'm like wearing these booty, but yeah, not my dress, but these clothes. But, so excuse my attire.
Beautiful.
But
You're perfect for the Mississippi heat.
And of course, we have in the back, he's a 97-year young World War II veteran, and he has an impeccable memory. And he's right now very happy talking about his experience in the war. But I do want to say something highlight something that Marcia said is extremely important. A lot of the veterans came back home and they did not talk about their experience. I think that we, the younger generations, we really should just ask them. Many times they didn't talk about it because nobody asked. And so if you have a veteran in your family, please just ask, hey, how was it like, back then? And they would love to tell you,
Thank you for that beautiful memorial we've seen in Washington. It's beautiful. Thank you on behalf of my father and all the men that can't be here to shake your hand. It's been such an honor. And my sister did a paper on my dad for college class, and so I want to get my sister and they all to send you that paper if that's okay.
Oh, of course.
It talks about the bloody river. Just it was snowing and there was just rivers of blood, and she mentioned it was 60 below. He spent 6 months in a Pensacola hospital post-war when he came back with his injuries. They wanted to cut his feet off, but he wouldn't let them.
By the way, I do have to say, last night I watched a documentary. I'm a documentary nerd. I watched the documentary PBS American Experience on the Chosin Reservoir.
Yes, I watched
so
it.
if you haven't watched it, please watch it because it really shows, right? Like visually shows how much, what kind of conditions they fought in. So again, this is
Thank you so much for what y'all are doing too. Your crew that you brought with you.
I know. I do want to give a shout out to our crew. Patrick and Mary, our bike rider crew, if you could just say thumbs up.
Connie, who is a huge advocate.
So
Where are you going, Connie?
This was my the state number 27 in my 50 state, 70 city, 90-day journey across America to promote peace and honor veterans. So thank you so much. Remember 77.org. Thank you. Bye.